what really, changed the game for you, man? Like, obviously you were learning the ways with your man Dilling, and he was kind of showing you the ways of the franchise and all. But like, how did you build your own brand? Like, did you start off with a website? Did you work with SEO? Like, how did you start it all building?
Yeah, I built my own websites. So I started with a GoDaddy site. Before I had a website, I was on Craigslist. So that's where I started. Before Craigslist, it was I went to the library with $50 and I opened up a Word document and I created a iHaul Austin flyer. I came up with iHaul because I wanted it to be like a familiar, um, a name recognition. Everyone iPhone. Everything was something. 15 years ago. So I was like, all right, it's iHaul, and so I came up with that. I made a Word document flyer at the public library, and I printed out 500 sheets for $50. And I went back to my neighborhood and I walked the neighborhood, and that's how I got my first set of jobs. And then I'd go back and I'd print out 500 more or 1,000 flyers. And so for the first several months, I was just flyering, just fucking terrible marketing. I mean, I wasn't doing anything right. I didn't have a brand. I didn't have a logo. I didn't have anything. It was literally a black and white Word document rolled up, stuck on people's doorknob. But before I put it on their door, I'd knock because I knew that I had a limited number of flyers and I wanted to have a face-to-face conversation. If I didn't get that, then I'd leave the flyer. So then eventually I found Craigslist. Craigslist was free. And so the way that Craigslist works is you create an account, and I had hundreds of ads. And so and you can renew an ad every 48 hours. And so I had an account with hundreds of ads of all the different services. This is before I knew anything about SEO, but I was kind of doing it on Craigslist. And, but yeah, so I would every 15 minutes, starting as early as I could get up, like 5 a.m. to like 10 p.m., every 15 minutes, I would renew another ad. So at any given time, if you looked at Craigslist for any number of different services, I was almost always at the top. So that's how I got started. Craigslist and flyering. And then eventually I found Google Ads. So for several years, I just ran my own Google Ads campaigns and would spend maybe $1,000 to $2,000 a month on Google Ads. Not a lot, but back then that was enough to generate 20 or 30,000 in sales because it was the price of ads was cheaper, competition was lower. Before Google Ads, I had almost 100 Yelp reviews before I ever had a Google page.
Wow.
Yelp used to be awesome too. And so I dominated Yelp for years. I paid for Yelp ads before I paid for Google Ads. And so that was the transition. Paper flyers.
Let me ask you this, Matt. I want to back up a little. So when you first started with organic growth, with the 500 flyers and everything, when you would do the 500 flyers, how many jobs would you pick up from that 500 flyers, would you say, around?
1 or 2.
Okay.
If that, sometimes nothing.
Okay. Then after that, you went and you started with the online advertising. Is that when you started doing Google Ads next, or Yelp? Like,
Yelp.
Okay.
I did Yelp for a couple of years before I ever even paid for a Google ad because Yelp ads were good.
Okay. And then Craigslist, back then, did they charge you for an ad? No. So today they charge you though, correct?
Right. So you can replicate the same thing. You just need to do it once an hour between 8 and 5 p.m. You know what I mean? Like if your budget's constrained, you can still do that. But like, yeah, it costs money now to do that. So the what you can do, and it's the same now as it was then, is you can put all your time into your Facebook page for free. And you can do the same thing, and you can post all day on your Facebook page, and you can do like what you do, and you can put the camera in front of your face, and you can talk to your target audience, and that's how you're going to get business for free. And right now is to get yourself and then put a face to your business. Branding's one thing, but fuck, Nike will pay a no-name influencer to represent their brand now because personal touch is almost more powerful than a brand.
Yeah.
And so I think that people need to, they need to put the freaking camera in front of their faces. If you don't have a budget, Craigslist was that 15 years ago, and now it's social media. Like this shit's free. It's probably not going to be free.
Would you recommend paying the Craigslist ads these days? Because I'm hearing like mixed reviews about that. Some people are saying it's not worth it anymore. You don't know. You don't mess with them anymore.
Mm-mm. I've seen people that say it's successful. You know what though? I would be willing to. I would like to look at their ads. I'd like to look and see what that looks like. The guy that says that Craigslist sucks, I bet he doesn't have the best ad. The people that say Craigslist is awesome, I bet they have the best presence in their area.